Video's recording. Oh, patrons, see you in a minute. Forgot about them. There we go. Okay. All right, we're ready. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, here goes. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here in my chair now. Just got through eating some weenies for dinner and all that good stuff. But now it's going to get pretty time for me to go to bed here in just a little bit. Goodbye, baby.
What if it was out the butt like a ponytail?
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. This is the Morning Stream.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Morning Stream. It's TMS for December 12th, 2019. I'm Scott. He's Brian. Hi, Brian. Good morning.
Hi, Scott. Good morning to you. Happy Thursday to you. We're on the downward slope of the week.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what they say, but normally Thursdays are a little less crazy for me, but not today. As soon as this ends, I'm being interviewed by a local podcaster who wanted to sit down with Kim and I and talk about balancing family with professional life. Mm-hmm. And so that'll be fun.
Nice.
And then after that...
How do you do it?
And then I have a ton of art to do today. And then I got Current Geek tonight. Oh, you can hear my voice going weird, right? Can you hear that?
I can. Oh, no, Scott.
I'm getting it.
You're going to be doing a lot of talking today, too, between you and Tom and this local podcaster. And
Yep, it's not good. It's not good. Oh, and I'm doing Boop today because we had to put that off last Monday because Dunaway had a thing.
Right.
So it's just a big handful of chicken bungs going on here. But we're happy to be here. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Good to see everybody in the live chat. We don't mention them. And well, we do mention them a lot, but we don't usually thank them publicly. So thanks for being here, chat room. We like you guys.
Yeah. You know what? It's listen, we know that there's a lot of you who listen to the podcast once it's released as a podcast. And we never want to discount you guys, but having the chat room here and as an immediate soundboard to the crap that we say is a big bonus.
Tip of the spear, these guys.
Right.
That's what they are.
Yes.
And also, what else are you going to do in the morning? I mean, really? Just sitting around? Got nothing to do? Come on.
Exactly. What are you going to do? Watch Kathy Lee and Hoda?
Yeah.
I guess it's Bush daughter and Jenna Bush and Hoda.
I didn't know that. Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Kathy Lee left the fourth hour, the all alcohol hour of the Today Show to go do something else. I don't know what. And Jenna Bush Hager, I guess that's her full name.
Jenna Bush Hager?
Is now Jenna Bush Hager.
Okay. I was hoping it was
she married
Hagar.
Sammy Hager?
Yeah, I was going to say. Wow.
Wouldn't that be great if W's son-in-law was Sammy Hagar?
Yeah, no. Was she the one that partied hard during the Bush presidency?
It was both of the Bush daughters that partied hard. I thought it was both Jenna and...
That could be.
Ooh, what was her sister's name?
Both
like
Fendry. I don't know.
Fendry, yes.
I don't remember her name. It was Jenna and
Sansa. Sure.
Bush.
Okay, Sansa Bush.
One day she'll be a princess.
Laura Bush? No, Laura was the mom.
Laura's mom.
I like that Luke Sightwalker just gives us the name Jenna that we've been saying. No, it's Jenna's sisters.
We're talking about the sister, not
That's
Barbara.
Right. No, but
unless they named her Barbara, did they?
That's what I'm thinking. Was it Jenna and Barbara?
Oh, maybe. Maybe they named her after her mom. His mom. I don't know.
Maybe.
Now, does she also look like the Quaker Oats man, or just the mom?
No, it's just Barbara.
Lucy, Harry, Burning Bush. Yeah, you guys are no use today. Nobody knows the real name here. Oh well. Bobby Bush.
It is Barbara. Yes, Barbara and Jenna Bush Hager.
Okay. Yeah, and they were party animals, right?
They were a little bit, sneaking out of the White House to go and hit some big mad cocaine parties, from what I hear.
Yeah, from the rumors I've
heard. I'm sure that's 100% correct.
Yeah, no libel there. Anyway, yeah, their dad was like that too in college, so why not?
Yeah,
daughters
exactly.
like father, I guess. They never had any sons, though, right? He didn't have any boys? No boys, right?
No boys. No Bush boys.
That's too bad.
No, just the two daughters, as far as I know. I don't think they had any other kids at all.
It's a little brother might have calmed them all down because they would have had to take care of him. You know what I mean?
Probably.
Like,
Yep. Sure.
I'm not sure that's happening for
Go
Baron
home and
Bush.
take care of
Or
little
Baron.
George the Third,
Yeah, little
George 3,
George Jr. 2.
George Jr.
That's what they call him. Anyway, hey, we got an email. We got a follow up. We got to talk about here about the
Sure.
the movie theater problem we're all having. Discussion lately we're having. And this is an ongoing discussion because Brian's been having trouble with people in theaters for years. Nothing new for Brian, is it?
Nothing new, and at this point, it's comical. It's a rare occasion that I have an uninterrupted movie experience these days.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I've gone to expect it, and when I don't get it, it's a nice surprise. We're going to the movies tonight too.
Oh, very nice. Where do you want to? You don't want to leak what you're seeing, or is that a Monday morning?
I will. It could be a Friday afternoon.
A
Film
PM review.
So
sure.
a faffer,
Mhm.
a faffer,
A faffer.
instead of a murmurfer.
Nice.
I will tell you that it is it's a film. That's all I'll tell you right there. It's a film.
Okay, it's a
Wanna watch the films?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a movie.
No, I'll say it. We're gonna go see Parasite, which is the Korean film that is getting so much buzz about it. Not only being a lock for the best foreign film at the upcoming Oscars, but also probably a Best Picture nomination at least.
At least, yeah. I love Bong Joon-ho or whatever his name is, the director.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
great, and yeah, you're
So
gonna,
much reading though.
yeah,
Oh my
lots
God.
of reading. It's going to be a ton of reading, so enjoy that. Because there's a lot of dialogue in it. This is not an action film, as far as I
I
know.
wonder if we could get it all just dubbed by Sam Elliott.
Oh, that'd be great. Are you
Come
kidding?
on up to the house. Okay, I will go to the house.
Why does your Sam Elliott sound like Morgan Freeman? That's what I want to know.
No, my Morgan Freeman is a lot more nasal. And a lot of it lands in the back of my throat.
There you go. I like it. The male penguin keeps an egg under his couch. Anyway,
I'd like
so
to tell you that the male penguin survived that.
I'd like to tell you
I'd like
that.
to tell you, but I can't. These penguins walk a mile over ice and shit and come out cold on the other
Yeah,
side.
that's the thing I got from that documentary is everyone comes out cold on every side. That's all
Yes,
you do.
exactly.
So anyway, we got this email. This is from Troy Thorson, who's been
Okay.
emailing a lot of shows lately. I just read something from him for another one the other day. But anyway, he says this. I don't think they will ever allow people to view movies at home on the day of theatrical releases, because as soon as you allow someone to have a digital copy or a stream of those movies in their home, they'll be able to copy them or rip them and find some way to reproduce them for pirating. Well, that's already true, though.
That's happening. That's
Netflix
happening
and-
even without. Yeah.
Yeah, Netflix, Hulu, doesn't matter. Those things, that stuff gets pirated day and date too. So I don't know why that would stop them. But anyway,
No, oh yeah.
go ahead. What were you gonna say? Go ahead.
Nope. I'll wait. I will allow him to finish, and then I will give my response at the end.
Nice rebuttal coming, everybody. Can't wait.
Yes.
Here we go. As of now, usually the only way for people to see a high quality version of a pirated movie is to wait until the release or sale in digital format, unless someone has a screener, then they copy those. Anyway, otherwise they have to deal with the crappy in-person recordings did in theaters with their phones. People love the shows. Please play I Don't Like Bees. Do I have that? I don't like bees.
I don't like bees.
I don't watch the news.
I know. That's all I can think of. Is I don't watch the news,
Let's
and
see.
I don't like bees.
I don't remember this. I don't like bees.
I
I
don't
do
like
have it.
bees.
I have one here.
I don't like bees.
Oh yeah.
What's that? What is
That's,
that from?
What's his name in Ann Arbor? He called in, left a message once, and I can't think of his name all of a sudden. Kevin. It's Kevin.
Oh.
Kevin from Ann
right,
Arbor.
right. Okay.
I don't like bees.
He doesn't call in enough. That guy's funny. He makes
It
me
really
laugh.
doesn't. And for whatever reason, it makes me think of Bhutanese passport, which we talked about yesterday.
Look, in my heart, I talk about Bhutanese passport every day. Anyway, so, and then he says, P.S. Yes, you can say my name. Say it like Lion-O summoning the Thundercats. Troy Thorson! Anyway, that one. See, I think I got to throw it.
Yeah, you got something going there as well.
A little something.
No, the way to do it, I think the way to do it is like the way they did Marriage Story, where it gets released to theaters, and then like a month later, it becomes available for digital purchase, rent, and streaming. Right?
I
Like,
gotcha.
like
Yeah.
instead of making the gap so long, make it while there's still a lot of attention and excitement about the film, and not when, oh yeah, I forgot about that movie that came out 6 months ago. Oh, that's streaming now. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll try and get to it. But now
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, I really want to see. Like if Parasite, which came out 2 months ago, if it was available now for rent,
Uh-huh.
yeah, we'd stay home. We'd watch that one at home for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, also, this is the other way to look at it. His concern about piracy isn't unfounded. Yes, people are going to pirate
Oh,
stuff.
for sure. And they're going to do it regardless.
They're
yeah.
going to do it no matter what. But here's what we've learned, and we have to take what we've learned. This used to be the line that all the music companies would use and say, well, we can't let Apple or anybody else sell our music because, people will just pirate it and then we're screwed. Turns out the convenience and ease of buying music and now getting streaming services and getting content in general, the easier and more convenient you make a paid service, the more likely it is you're going to get the lion's share of it. And that's turned out to be true. So yes, there's a ton of copies of Game of Thrones out there every time there was a new episode that would come out. It was the most pirated thing in years. But that was just a reflection of the enormous success of their subscription services across both cable and streaming. So
Right.
I'm telling you right now, the way you do this is not to be afraid of piracy. Piracy happens whether you like it or not. There's already copies of Jojo Rabbit around, or what's the one that just came out that you should have been in?
Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep is already a thing that's available on a billion Plex servers. Why? Because someone got a hold of a screener and copied it. This stuff already happens. And yes, you're going to have a segment of people that do, but I'm telling you, there are more people that would go, oh, for $5 I can watch, or whatever the price is, I can watch Dr. Sleep, and it's only been out 2 weeks, and now it's available here. I'll do it here. And
it's
people
not
will
going
do
to
it.
have Korean subtitles, or have a guy walking across every 2 minutes to go to the bathroom and get popcorn or something.
Right. Piracy fears are piracy fears are real, and it's not like that's not lost money. It is, but it's not as pervasive as people think. And making an actually good quality service will net you more money than you can negate the losses. That's just been proven out over the last 10 years.
Sure,
It's worked out for everybody. So I wouldn't worry about that so much. But Brian's idea is good too. In fact, I would, if I were to guess what will probably start to happen, is something closer to what you said.
Yeah.
Like
Let it be in theaters for a month to capture the people who just can't wait for it to be available for buy, rent, or stream.
Right.
But still short enough time that it capitalizes on the excitement over the film.
Right.
Because like I said, stuff comes out and then I really want to see it in theaters. I don't see it in theaters, and I totally forget about it when it finally comes to something streaming because the excitement for it's long gone.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that Magnificent Seven remake because I was really excited to see it in theaters. Didn't see it in theaters, came to streaming. All right, catch it sometime.
Yeah, you kind of just put it off. Exactly.
Mhm.
I like
But if
that
it was
movie.
available a month later for $5.99 at home, oh yeah, for sure.
I
Do it.
enjoyed that
Totally.
remake, actually. I know a lot of people think it was a little too by the numbers, but I enjoyed it. It was good.
Listen, it's got Chris Pratt. Come on.
Yeah, he's all right.
Can anything be bad with Chris Pratt in it? Yeah, I
Well-
guess so. That damn movie with Jennifer Lawrence where he pulls her out of a life pod before she was going to reach a planet and basically condemns her to death on that spaceship with him.
That wasn't great. He
Passengers,
also
I think?
Passengers, was it? And then that second Jurassic World movie was pretty bad. That was not not a good movie. He's not infallible, but actually the people that I really liked that movie were not him. It was I forgot his name.
Wait, people who were in that Passengers movie?
No.
Or in...
In the Magnificent Seven remake.
Oh.
And now I can't think
Was
of
it
who
Jamie
they were.
Foxx?
No, you get your black actors mixed up. It was Denzel Washington was in there.
Denzel Washington. Why do I feel like...
Oh,
here we
Ethan
go.
Hawke was very good in it. That's who it was. Vincent
Hawke.
D'Onofrio was amazing in it. Byung Hung Lee, who's a Korean actor, was amazing. He played Billy Rocks. He was awesome in there.
Yeah.
Peter Sarsgaard was the bad guy. He was fantastic as that dude. I liked it. It was just a crowd pleasing good time. You know, it's
Cool.
not. They didn't do anything new. They didn't rewrite the script. It's all kind of exactly what you think it is. Modern remake of the Magnificent Seven, but I enjoyed it. And Antoine Fuqua makes cool movies. All right, okay.
True dat.
Yeah, true. Hey, that's what the kids say. They say true dat.
They say true dat. So tell me about. So I had my little company Christmas party and indulged on some delicious sea bass over garbanzo beans. Went to a Mediterranean place is why we had that. But tell me about your night. What did you do last night?
Well, listen to this.
All
So Kim has a group of kids. They're probably, I think they're 10, 11, all
Okay.
girls. They come over to the house and they make like crafts and do stuff on a weekly basis.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and so Kim's knows these kids really well, and they're all going to be moving on soon. And so she,
Oh no.
well, I mean moving on as in I don't mean like they're not going to die, they're not going to move.
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
They're moving on. They're getting older. They're going to not be in the thing anymore. So
What's wrong with these poor children? They're moving on
We're
soon.
all moving on. Let's bow our heads now and sad tribute. Anyway, so they're over here, and Kim had a big Christmassy thing planned for them, which meant decorating cookies, and they were going to like do crafts and make little ornaments and just kind of go nuts with all that stuff you do around Christmas. So they're all doing that, and I go upstairs, and the food on available are things like carrot sticks. No problem, I can eat those. Some moderate potato chip selection. I can have a little of that, so no problem there. A couple other things here and there.
Moderate, like how many different kinds of potato chips were?
There were, I don't want to
stand
say
out
there
on
were
display?
5 different bags, five different types. So there was like salt and vinegar, some sort of barbecue thing. One of them was a bag of Cheetos.
Sour cream and onion option.
There was actually, yes. There totally was.
I just love the fact that there's like not just a bowl of potato chips, but 5 different flavored bowls of potato chips.
It was quite a bit because she had, I don't know, it was like 13 girls or something.
Okay.
And then they decorated these cookies. Now here's where things got real gnarly for me. Sure. And I am happy to say that I completely held my ground, but there was a chocolate cookie covered in chocolate frosting.
Kimchi.
No, no kimchi. Chocolate frosting, and then on top of that, big chunky chocolate chips on top of that. That used to be, and still kind of is, my what's the thing someone's super attracted to?
Your weakness, your
Dang, dude.
your Achilles heel,
Sure. My go-to for desserts.
your kryptonite.
Yes, my kryptonite.
Gotcha. Okay.
But also those negative things work because they're bad for me now, right? Like I'm paying for it now. But back in the day, if I was at a restaurant and they said, "Oh, here's the dessert menu," my eyeballs would go, and it would land right on triple chocolate cake thing or whatever. It was always whatever the most chocolatey thing you have is, I'll eat it. And this is what one of those was, and it was big. And a year ago, I would have kifed it and horked it down like a maniac. And I was so close, Brian, so close. I actually, the first time since I gave up sugar, first time actual temptation entered my head. And I looked at that thing and said, oh, what if I, like, kind of like that Bert and Ernie sketch where Ernie just eats a corner of the cookie.
What if I just broke off a little piece of that?
Yes.
Oh, now it's uneven. Now I got to break off a piece on the other side.
Yes.
Oh no, now we got to.
Yes.
Sure.
And my head said, oh, you've been so good, you can just have this little thing. It's no big deal. Like, I really could almost hear a voice in my head, almost like a little guy in a devil suit on my shoulder saying, you're fine. Go ahead and have that cookie. It's not going to hurt anybody. And I didn't do it. I withheld. I was strong. I didn't eat it. And I weighed myself this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I am down another 2 pounds over last week. So
Wow.
I'm now
Very
sitting at 18 total pounds lost since, what is it, 2.5 months ago? 18 down, baby. Woo!
Dude, that's awesome. And still doing? Are you doing 2-a-days on the workouts or?
Still just one.
One?
I try to do more, but it just depends. Snow makes it hard because I like to do it outside. So
Oh, sure.
I'm not really a fan of indoor stuff. But I've been using this. So there's this really great boxing thing for the Quest. I think it's also on the desktop. It's not on the go, but it's called Shoot. Oh no, it's called Box VR. Just simple name.
A boxing game called Shoot? That seems like it's poorly named.
They really need to go back to the drawing board on that name. It's very bad. But it's called Box VR, and it is just what you think it is, except it's really, I guess it's sort of a game, but not really even a game. It's got a lot of music. The music does have a beat to it, so a lot of the boxing is to a beat.
Okay.
But you're really meant to just be working out. It's not supposed to be gamey in the sense,
right.
like
you're not punching Joe Glass or anything like that.
right, exactly. Or what's the one with
Glass Jaw? What was the guy's name? I thought it was
Glass
Joe
Glass Joe.
That sounds right.
Glass Joe. I think so. Anyway, it's to the beat of all this music, and what it is it's you inside of a giant gym, and your controllers are what are they called? Gloves. The boxing gloves.
Okay, yeah, boxing gloves.
And the things, these balls of light are swooping from way in the distance out toward you, and the ones that are just balls of light, you match the color with the glove you're wearing.
Oh, cool.
So you have to hit it at the right point, and then you punch with the left, punch with the right. Sometimes it's like a bunch of right jabs in a row. Sometimes it tells you to move your feet, so you shuffle your feet this way, shuffle your feet that way.
Yeah.
Then they have uppercuts and sidewinders, I guess you'd call it. Or no,
Okay.
what do you call a roundhouse? I guess roundhouse. That's it. And those come in the form of those balls, except there's like a little 3D path behind it that shows you the path you need to take to hit it. If you hit it head on, it won't work. Then there's ones that just you have to dodge, so a lot of juking and jiving and get down, move, that sort of thing. I thought this would be simple and no big deal and not that big of a hard of a thing. Oh my gosh, I'm a sweaty freaking mess. It's hardcore, dude.
Really? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Good. I'll see another thing that's leading me towards just picking up the quest.
Yeah, it's very good.
Jumping on it.
And that, honestly, if you play Beat Saber on Expert, you get the similar workout. But there are a few things on there that are workout.
I think Ninja Steve said, "Oh, would you call this beatboxing? Like Beat Saber, but with boxing? That's really clever. Beatboxing."
Yeah, beatboxing. Nice job. Also, it says here. I found a really good website for people who are looking for VR workout stuff, and with the Quest and to some extent the Go, it's like a nice. It's nice to have wireless, solutions so you can do a little more workouty stuff. But anyway, I found this website called VR Fitness Insider, and all they do is cover VR stuff that is fitness related.
There it is, right there.
They'll do games
very
too.
cool.
They'll do games, but they'll look at the game from the perspective of how much are you moving around in this thing. Are you just sitting there doing nothing or whatever? Like today or on the 2nd, they put up an article called the 10 best leg workout VR games, and they just go through all of those. They do an Oculus Quest Fitness Games complete roundup, which is where I found this boxing game.
Yeah.
They rated that one really highly.
They've got a similar one for the Go, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. They have a hardware section. Let's see.
I'm scrolling through all that.
Yeah, I'm not.
Might have to just use their search in here and just say, okay, Oculus Go, and see if they've got a.
Oh, there's an actual boxing game called Thrill of the Fight where you got to fight an ugly dude. That could be fun. He's really ugly.
just an ugly dude.
But anyway, it's
that's cool.
Can't find
yeah,
that.
There's really not saying much about.
There's not much on the
Oculus
Go in there.
Go.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
No.
But part of that is because the Go doesn't have any kind of 3D space stuff. It's like a stationary thing, so you can't really move.
I will say though, I am loving VR Zoom. The thing I'm just so addicted to one particular game in there where you're driving around this burned out Russian village in this place called Winterstan.
Mm-hmm.
And it drops you in the middle of this big tank arena, and other tanks pop up, and every wave is like they add a tank. So you've got 3 tanks in the first wave, 4 tanks in the next wave, and the faster you pedal, the faster your tank moves. You're rounding corners, shooting these things, and they shoot you, and you got to go pick up power-ups and stuff like that. It's basically a very well rendered battle zone. I'm loving it.
So do you have the sensor thing, the VR Zoom sensor on your bike, or how do you do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a VR Zoom sensor that goes on the arm of one of your bike pedals,
Mm-hmm.
and as you as you paddle, obviously it tracks. It's got like a little gyrometer or whatever, a accelerometer
Mhm.
that figures out how many repetitions it's getting. It keeps track of those in a little thing up top. Keeps track of how many coins you earn every time you shoot a tank. You get a certain number of coins depending on how much in a streak you are, how many times you've gotten it, or how many tanks you've shot without misses. And then you drive over and you pick things up. And basically what I do is I have my AirPods in, I'm listening to Apple Music playlist 2019 pop and crap like that, just stuff that's a little bit more exciting. And I'm shooting tanks for 30 to 40 minutes a morning, and I'm loving it.
That's
it's
pretty
just
cool.
So
yeah.
there's a bunch of other games on there, but I'm so hooked on that one that it almost, I haven't gotten more into the other ones.
It's only $74, not bad.
It's not bad at all. And
Oh, they have the membership is they have a free tier, and you're just using that, right? Or are you doing the?
No, I'm doing the paid tier because
Oh,
I
yeah.
want. I don't think there is a free tier. Is there?
It says there is. Free tier says free play rotating games, demos of all play games, multiplayer and
okay.
rotating game, one free
I
Explorer
want
ride,
that.
demo of Explorer ride, and start with 7 days of VZ Fit Premium.
Yeah, no, I do the premium, which is still only $9 a month or something.
Yeah.
Maybe not even that. Maybe like $5 a month.
I think it's $9.95.
And,
yeah.
There it is. So $10 a month.
Yeah.
But no, because it gets you the advanced levels of the tank game, and I'm trying to earn enough coins to buy a mech, because apparently there's a mech upgrade I can get.
There's a
and
mech
drive
in it. Oh my gosh.
I can drive a mech around the around Winterstand shooting tanks.
That's too good. I want to do that.
I'm so hooked.
Yeah.
But it works with the quest too. So when I do upgrade to the quest, then I'll be able to continue my.
Oh yeah, that should be a
my
nice
usage of that.
upgrade in fidelity as well on that.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, it even says that here. It says the Quest version takes better advantage of the hardware.
Oh really? Okay, cool.
Anyway, that's awesome. I need to maybe look into that. I don't have a bike though, so I don't know. I guess you could use it for a bike if you got a bike. I don't have a bike. I'd have to get a bike.
Yeah,
That's the expensive part.
definitely want to have a bike. Well, you can get it. You can get a thing that you basically put your bike onto. That, so you don't have to have your own dedicated
Really?
fitness bike. You can just get something. There's like these $100 deals you can put on the floor. You take off the back wheel of your bike, put this in its place. It stays stationary, and as you pedal, it lifts. It basically it can provide resistance, and it can work with all this stuff.
I didn't know that was
look
even a
at,
thing. That's news.
Zwift.
Zwift?
I guess Zwift is more of like the Peloton competitor that actually has like competitive classes and stuff. But you can
How do you spell Zwift? W or S-V-I?
ZW is like Swift with a Z instead of an S.
Z-W-I-F-T.
Wahoo
Oh, yeah.
Kicker, is that Rev MR says Wahoo Kicker?
What's
That's
a
one of those things.
Wahoo Kicker?
Wahoo Kicker. Yeah, there it is.
Wahoo Kicker.
Wahoo Kicker.
All right. I believe that's a real
Power
thing.
Trainer lets iPhone cyclists feel the simulated burn. There it is right there. So
look
yeah,
at
you
that.
just,
That's
that's
cool.
cool.
So you could do that and then combine it with this sensor, and you're in Fat City.
totally.
All right,
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fitness time is over, everyone. Now it's time for us to delve deep into today's this thing. Wait a minute. Where is it? Here, I'll just play this.
I don't watch the news.
That's right. It's time for the news, and it's brought to you by.
In celebration of the launch of Book 2 in the Shattering of Kingdoms series, King's Guard, indie fantasy author Emmett Moss invites you to read Book 1, The Mercenary Code, now discounted at Amazon and free on Kindle Unlimited, chronicling a land plunged into chaos with the fall of the old monarchy, where armies are for hire and grievances are settled by the strict tenets of the code. Visit bit.ly/King Moss or purchase both books directly on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. You can follow him on Twitter at Moss Emmett.
Nice. All right, so
Yeah.
check this out. We got news today. It starts with this story. I love
Okay.
this. This is one for the kids. A bus full of school kids got evacuated because there was too much Axe body spray in there.
Ew.
Yeah, this is in Florida, as often these stories are.
Florida.
A Florida student's use of Axe body spray was so overwhelming. In my best Third Eagle voice. Yeah, isn't it a Third Eagle thing, isn't it, when he says overwhelming? It's
Overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
The evidence is overwhelming.
Overwhelm. I'm going to find it.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find it. Oh, come on. I know I have this. Yeah, there it is. Here it is.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
The Monkey King was overwhelmed by doubt.
Now he says it right. He says overwhelming. Nice job.
Stewie, why do you pronounce it overwhelming?
We should always check in to see if he's streaming when we're doing the show. I guess
We should.
just for funsies.
Sure.
Yeah, you look him up while I read this.
Okay.
All right. So, a Florida student's use of Axe body spray was so overwhelming that a school bus had to pull over and call for help. They thought something was wrong. The driver did. Students were asked to get out of the bus in Manatee County. According to an ABC Action News report, they were evaluated by a local EMS, and the TV station reports that no one was taken to the hospital. The incident affected Buffalo Creek's middle school students near Parrish. The entire thing was because somebody put on a crap ton of Axe body spray, and the driver thought something was wrong. Nope. Just stinky body spray.
Pulled over and called for help thinking something was wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell it's just friggin' Axe body spray, right?
I would have thought so. But this guy
Yeah.
thought it was like a chemical or a leak or
It's a dirty bomb.
something like that. Who knows? All right.
New dirty bomb fresh scent available from Axe body spray.
What's the uptick on Third Eagle? Is he doing anything?
He streamed an hour ago for 38 minutes. We
Damn
just missed him. Like he finished up right as we were starting. our
Damn it.
business.
Is it one of his daily? It's his rosary things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pray for Donald Trump.
Donald
And
Trump.
he asked for no quid pro quo. He asked Zelensky for nothing. He wanted nothing.
Your Third Eagle is really top notch.
I'm great with impersonations of people that nobody knows.
Yeah, nobody's ever heard of that guy. It's all like it's like the most TMS thing ever, but outside of it, I don't think anyone knows who that guy is.
Right. Anderson Cooper knows who he is because they featured him a couple times.
Oh, that. What do you think about that, Anderson Cooper? He says.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, I have that. Anderson.
Do you really?
I think so. Is this it?
You're the Dharma Chief.
No, that's something else.
Wow.
Cooper.
Oh, I'd watch 30 Eagle all the time if he sounded like that.
Yeah, I think maybe. Oh, here it is. Is this it?
The Illuminati have someone else completely in mind.
Okay.
Anderson Cooper.
Anderson Cooper.
You two blocked true prophecy.
All right. F off. You're weird. All right, moving on. Here's a story about Mr. Rogers. And
Sure. Aw.
all we hear, like, you see the documentary or this new movie with Tom Hanks, and you think, Mr. Rogers, what a national treasure he was. He just did all these nice things, but he had a
swell guy.
He had a secret dark side, Brian.
Oh no, did he really? Or is this finally coming to light, Scott? Everything
Finally.
we've been predicting about the man is starting to come true.
It's all starting to happen. Here's the first cutting edge of it.
Okay.
Mr. Rogers here's the headline. Mr. Rogers used tactical farts to make his wife laugh. Bump, bump, bump.
You like that one? How about this one?
Yeah.
It's a good feeling when you let one of those go.
Dutch oven. I did a Dutch oven. It says,
Can you say Dutch oven? The thing about Dutch ovens is they don't really come from Amsterdam. You can make one right here in your own home.
just have a blanket and your significant other, and then you fart in the blanket, and then you hold them down so they can't get out. What do you think, Mr. McFeely?
It's I like every part of. It'd be great if he did work him into his songs with his wife.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
And
Anyway,
sure, when he uses tactical farts, it's all cute and funny. When I use them, I'm a gross pig.
yeah.
Thanks, Tina.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tina. Says it's no secret we're big fans of Fred Rogers around here, says this article, but from his no BS philosophy to his ability to communicate with his young audience, and also his snackability. What does that mean? Anyway, what does that mean, his snackability?
His snackability?
I don't get that. And yes, his snackability. There's a lot to like about the guy.
Snackability. I don't know. I don't know what makes him snackable.
I don't know either. Did Mr. McFeely come in the house and lick him once or something? I don't know.
I guess he makes snacks during his show. Like, does he make? Here's a delicious apple slice with a piece of cheddar cheese on top.
I don't understand that reference. It's weird.
I don't know. Snackability.
Rainbow Bright says he likes snacks, but I don't know what that means. Anyway, we now have what?
Clover North says calling someone a snack is a crappy new term for sexy. Please tell me that's not true.
Is that really true? That's stupid.
Oh, Pops and Recline pointing us to an Urban Dictionary. It looks good at the moment. Look at that snack.
You know what? You know what? I don't like that one bit. I would like to register a complaint.
Yes, exactly. Could we stop this before it turns into flossing or twerking or anything like that? Could we stop it? Just nip it in the bud?
No kidding. Here, I'm gonna play their voiceover version of this here.
Snack.
Is that the guy who did it?
Snack.
Can you do your own when you submit stuff? Can you do your own word?
I guess you can.
Here's another one. So this one says an attractive female. Quote, do you know how many snacks live in this dorm? Too many. I'm not going to lie, Chris. Your sister is a snack. Shut up.
That's how Chris... That's when Chris punched that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that. Don't like it. Is there wait, do they read out GURP? Hold on, I got to look.
Oh, sure. And if not, you can.
Yeah, that's true. I can. Oh, there's no readout for GURP. That's too bad.
Oh, cool. Submit your own.
All right.
GURP!
Can you do that even? This is so old, maybe, because this is like 2009. Oh, yeah, 10-year anniversary of GURP on Urban Dictionary. Still says...
Happy 10-year 10th anniversary, GURP on Urban Dictionary.
The best orc hunter of all time in World of Warcraft. The usage is, GURP killed 1 million mobs with one shot. That never happened, and I am not the best of anything. No. So this is a lie.
That's how lore gets started, Scott.
Yeah, my own headcanon. Anyway, it says here, we can add it to the list. Mr. Rogers thought farts were funny. We have this tantalizing piece of information thanks to Joanne Rogers, his wife, from 1952 until his death in 2003. They were married a long time.
They were.
She's become something of a legacy protector since she lost her husband, and part of that role is serving as a consulate consultant is what I meant on Rogers projects. Like it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. The writers
read the transcript, Scott. Read the transcript.
Why did I say consulate? What is that about?
I don't know.
It still looks wrong in my head. The writers of that film approached Joanne to get her blessing on the project, which tells the story of journalist Tom Junod's relationship with Rogers, played by Tom Hanks. Noah Harpster, who co-wrote the film, says she really only had one request, that we not treat her husband as a saint. Joanne also wanted the film to portray her husband as the funny, down-to-earth person he was and not the sort of saintly figure he's become or remembered as. She told the paper that Fred's go-to way of making her laugh was farting. Here's the quote. He would just raise one cheek and he would look at me and smile, Joanne told the paper, cracking herself up as she remembered it. I don't like to think of that.
You don't like to think of Fred Rogers' butt cheeks?
Yeah, lifting the cheek up.
I know.
Gross.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to think. I want to just imagine that under that cardigan, he was basically built like a Ken doll.
Right.
Like no genitalia, just basically smooth like a dolphin.
Yeah, I mean, this is we no one's ever really thought of such a thing with Fred Rogers, but I have to admit, this story makes me like him even more. So, well done. I like him even more. That he's even more human.
I do too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
I just can't imagine like the conversation that goes on around that. Did you hear? Oh, that's a smelly one. Like, I just can't visualize.
Honey, you got to stop making lasagna. Every time you make the lasagna, I got the...
She who smelt it, dealt it.
Beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. Gotta go to work. Anyway, there's that story. All right. Hey, here's a weird thing I found today.
Sure. Okay.
Meet the Englishman, or Englishman, depending on how you want to say it.
Sure.
Who decided to tattoo himself entirely black.
Oh, okay.
So he went in there and had people like tattoo him until he has no skin left that isn't tattooed.
Oh, wow. No
Yeah.
kidding.
And it doesn't look right. You know, like a black person.
Yeah.
They've got this lovely sort of,
Well,
lovely tone to everything, right? Everything looks
let's
right.
clarify. I mean, he's not necessarily trying to turn himself into an African American person. He's just trying to turn himself into a black person.
Correct.
Like he's trying to black himself out, not trying to
Yes.
make himself look like.
Oh, yeah, he's not.
an
This is not a
African
race
American
thing. He's not trying to
Right,
achieve a different
exactly.
race, but he has
He's basically trying to redact himself with a Sharpie.
kind of, yeah. In a weird way, I think you're right about that. Here's a picture of him, guys. There you go.
Yeah, and he's doing that whole like lip thing. Yeah.
There you go. He's missed a few spots on his hands. He probably should get his hands finished because it looks weird, but
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't do it. It ends up looking like charcoal or something. Like he looks burnt. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that face in the one where he's doing the selfie in the mirror. He looks like he got burnt real bad.
Yeah.
Like a marshmallow.
And he's got a grill. Yeah, I don't like. Oh man, the whole hockey puck in the lower lip thing.
I mean, no judgment. I just can't ever think of a world I live in where this makes sense for me.
Nope.
And if it made sense for him, good on him.
Good on him. I'm glad he found his thing, and
I
probably won't be getting a job at that as an intern at that legal firm.
probably not. Probably a good warehouse gig somewhere.
That's right. But if
You-
he's a tattoo artist, I think he's in the perfect line of work, and somebody can just point to him and say, "Yep, this color right here is what I'm looking for on my for my teddy bear holding a bunch of balloons. I'm looking for this color right here."
That thing in his lips, can someone explain that to me? What is that? The big, looks like a urinal cake. What is that?
It does. I mean, it's like one of the I don't know the African tribes that do it, but the African tribes that do that sort of lip stretching thing.
And they do that
Same
just
as
as
like the
a
ear stretching and they do the rings around the neck to keep elongating their neck.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But urinal cake, I think, is as accurate a description as anything.
It looks like you're looking down at in the urinal at a fresh lemon French scented urinal cake.
That's right.
Oh, and his nostrils have that whole thing going too.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
Right. The sides he's got. I don't know what he's got. Are those stretchers?
I think those are gold
Oh
stretchers.
yeah, stretchers in his nose and under his bottom lip.
What if you have to sneeze or like, I don't know. What if you had,
Well, how do you drink?
yeah. How do you drink?
Like, do you just pour it on the urinal cake and then tip your head back and it just kind of goes down the gullet?
Yeah. When you smell things, how do you smell them? From the sides now? You've switched to smelling from the side? These are just things I'm asking, right? I don't know.
I guess you have to use a straw. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. You know what? If he would be willing to come on, I'd talk to a guy like this. I'd love to know more about why you do this, what your motivations are.
Sure.
Because you've really gone.
If we could understand him with that thing in his lower lip, sure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's got to affect your ability to enunciate clearly.
Oh, this picture. If you click on his Instagram images, they're even more intense.
Oh no, really? Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah, wow.
Let's see. Where is his Insta link?
Down low,
Is
you'll
it
see
below?
a bunch of Instagram
Oh, there it is, right
links, and
there. Ooh.
you can click
Oh,
on them.
wow. The nose thing is crazy. Now from that side. And then how does he get the whites of his eyes black like that?
I don't know. That must be contacts, right? Or oh, maybe I heard this was a thing. You can tattoo the whites of your eyes, right? Isn't that a thing? Uh-huh. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tattoo eye whites. Let me look this up real quick. This is a thing I saw somewhere. Oh yeah, there we go. A lot of people say don't do it because you can be blind. But it's a thing you can do. You can get tattoos in your eyes. It's called scleral tattooing.
Okay.
It's where that Scolari guy from Bosom Buddies does all your tattooing.
Peter Scolari.
Yeah. Scolari tattooing.
There's a lot of tattoos that I think you should wait a couple days before you take a picture of it because they've got that red puffy skin around them that's like that just makes it look so painful. It's like, oh no, just wait a couple days.
Yeah, give it some time.
A lot of topless shots with tape over the nipples.
The boobies. Okay, here you go, chat. There's an eye getting tattooed.
Oh,
Holy
my.
Moses. Here, Brian. I'll put it in
Yeah,
our channel. There you go. Take a look at that right there.
Yeah, I need to put that.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that blue. That's what he's done. He's had that right there done. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you ever do that? And
Nope. Let's move. Can we talk more about the Axe body spray on the school bus?
Yes. Oh, instead I'll tell you about this.
Or Mr. Rogers farts?
I like this one. A
yeah.
Walmart story.
We talked about this last night at our Christmas party.
Oh, you did?
Great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Walmart is apologizing today. They're feeling kind of bad. They want you to know they're sorry because they put a sweater up featuring Santa with cocaine. Walmart has apologized for adults-only Christmas sweater on its Canadian website. Happened up there in Canada. They said sorry about that, they said. It appeared to depict Santa with cocaine. According to a report, the retailer pulled the holiday outfit, along with several other risque seasonal sweaters, on Saturday after they caused a stir with social media users. We got to stop acting like it's news that something caused a stir with social media users.
Exactly.
That's like saying the rain made the ground wet.
Right.
It says here, these sweaters sold by a third-party seller on Walmart.ca do not represent Walmart's values and have no place on our website, says a spokesman to the outlet. We will remove these products from our marketplace. We apologize for any unintended offense that may have been caused.
I mean, how else do you think he visits all those houses in one night?
Right. Exactly. It's the cocaine.
Yeah. It's not on amphetamines. It's got to be on coke.
Oh, look at that. It's a Santa. Oh, that's kind of funny. Here, chat. This is a funny sweater.
Oh, the shirt,
yeah, it's not
the
bad.
Let Snow shirt.
So it's the little Santa Claus sitting on the
it's
table.
crudely drawn.
Well, it's not great drawn, but he's sitting he's sitting there with a big pile of cocaine balls or something.
I don't know what the cocaine balls, like the lines, sure.
Maybe
the straw.
Maybe the joke is it is snow, but it's obviously making a joke about cocaine, but it's like he snorts snow. Do you know what I mean?
That he's actually snorting snow and not cocaine. I see what you're saying.
Because Santa Claus would snort snow, not cocaine. I think maybe he's going on there. But also maybe... Oh, there it is. Better shot of it, guys. I mean, whatever. I'd wear that.
Would you really?
It doesn't bother me. Sure.
So crudely drawn.
Oh,
Come on.
It's not great art. No question.
No.
It's bad art.
Yeah. Now, though, it is going to become like the blue dress, gold dress. People are going to now want to buy it. It's going to create a demand for it because of its viral ability or viralness, and the fact that now a place is refusing to sell it.
Yep, that's what happens. I mean, I don't know where else you can get it though. I'm not sure it's a thing you can just go out and get.
I imagine you can find it at Hot Topic or Spencer's or.
Probably, yeah. Do you remember?
I wish I could get my microphone over to the cat right now because he's in the perch.
Oh, I want to hear this.
So much.
I want to hear this.
Oh, I know. I wonder if I can. Hold on. Can I join our call on my phone?
You totally can. I think you don't. It'll even let you do it, even though you're the same user.
Really? Okay.
I think
see
so.
if I can do this.
Let's try this. All right, you guys. You guys, this is intense. This is big stuff. Here, let me get something intense playing. Whoop, that's not it. That's not what I want.
All right. Is it still? Oh, it moved me over here, but that's all right.
All right, here we go.
All right, can you hear me on this?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let's do this.
Okay.
Okay, we're getting to the cat. He stopped.
Oh, he woke up.
Dang it. He woke up.
He heard the music from the show.
Of
All right,
course.
so if I hang up on my phone,
yeah.
Oh, I could just click reconnect in Discord.
Yeah, you should be right back. Did it work?
Just connect.
We're learning a new thing here that we could do. This is good fun. Are you there? Can you hear me? Nothing? Oh, no. Here, I'll re-add you. I'll ring you. Okay, I'm ringing you now. Nope. He's not picking up. Well, maybe that was a mistake. All right, hold on. Oh, you guys have been sick. All right, let me put a thing here. Save this. We'll figure this out. Re-adding you. Huh. Hold on. All right. Clicking join call, but it does nothing. Weird. All right, he's going to relaunch it. This is why we can't have nice streams. That's right, Lon. Oh, I'm getting a sore throat. It's all right here. I don't want it. Yeah, I'm not recording now anyway.
There we go.
Oh, you're back.
I'm back. It automatically joined me now that I quit and relaunched.
Yeah.
But boy, that really screwed Discord up doing
It doesn't know what to do with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it seemed like a cool thing to kind of just pass the call off, like you could do that, and it did for the first phase, but phase 2 Del Boca Vista didn't work out.
It did not. Trying to come back to that, boom, dead.
Next time, I know what you should do next time. You should just record it on your phone.
Yeah, that's what I'll do,
and
then
then
I'll just
bring
send
it
you
over.
the recording. We can play it over the show.
Yeah, we'll do that. I like that.
Mm-hmm. It's really funny though.
Is he dreaming or something? Must be dreaming.
He makes that noise a lot when he sleeps. It's really cute. It's so sweet.
It's almost like a snore, but not a snore.
Yeah, it's not like he's twitching and like having, kitty dreams, but he just makes noise when he sleeps.
Kitty dreams.
Kitty dreams. What do they dream of?
What do they do? All right, we're
Licking their butt.
We're gonna take a break. I wonder what cats dream about. I wonder if they dream about that kind of stuff.
Do cats have dreams? Because I seriously wanted really to know.
Right? I do. Do they lick their butt in their dreams? Do they?
I bet it's chasing and catching mice, eating a bird.
Could be that. Yeah, could be that. Yeah. Probably is that. When we're gonna finally one day we're gonna get a technology that lets us basically mind meld digitally somehow with an animal, so that we can feel what an animal feels and thinks for some period of time.
Oh, that'd be great.
I would love that. I would love to know what's going on in their heads. Is it just pure chaos? Is it only instincts? Is it more than that? Like when they cuddle up to you as a dog, do they really do it because they like you, or is there something else what's their motivation?
If they just, when they lick you, is it because you just taste like salt, or is it because they love you and they want to?
Yep. I would pay. I'll tell you what. If somebody said to me, Scott, I will let you be in your dog's brain for a half an hour for $1,000, I think I'd do it. I think I'd do it for $1,000.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think I'd do it for more than that, though. More than that's stupid.
I'm with you.
All right. Real quick here. Let's take a break. When we come back, Wendy's here. We're going to talk about doing acid, man. No, that's not true. We're going to ask her a question about acid. But then we're going to talk about another kind of holiday family thing, but one that's really specific and may
it is.
ring a bell for a bunch of you guys.
Oh, I love it. I love this topic. I think it's a great one.
Yeah, it should be good. So we'll do that in a second, but Brian has to play a song first. So Brian, do your duty.
Yes, so brand new single from Brian Fallon called You Have Stolen My Heart. His album isn't coming out until next year, I believe. He's got there we go, Friday, March 27th will be his third solo EP called Local Honey. So you have to wait a few months to get that one, but you can hear this single right now. He's up in the Northeast, I want to say in the Wilmington, Delaware area, I think. Just scrolling through his bio information. Regardless, this is some great stuff and has a nice he sounds like if I tell you this and then you listen to the song, you're gonna say, oh my God, he does. He sounds like Roger Daltrey from The Who.
Oh,
he's got that voice.
Weird.
Really, really good, solid, scratchy rock voice. Okay. Anyway, the new song is called You Have Stolen My Heart. Here is Brian Fallon.
Hope all y'all had a good holiday there. Thanksgiving Day. I hope y'all had plenty of turkey and dressing and stuff, all the trimmings. I didn't have a whole bunch of nothing, but it was okay, I guess.
It was as if.
Sit down and listen, punk. This is the morning stream.
Okay, we're back at it, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm going to assume that guy sounded like Roger Daltrey, but I am going to listen later and check it out.
You listen after the show.
I have a feeling.
That is the drawback that you don't get to hear until we're done recording.
Yeah, but I do like listening to him, so I always do. And I have this burgeoning collection of music I've gotten strictly from Brian's songs that he brings to the show, and I'll just hang on to them and keep them in my library. Yeah, I do that all the time. Yep. All right, I'm going to add Winnie to the call, and we're going to have some fun with my sister, who I'm convinced more than ever I'm the one that pushed her into the mental health field. Because not just the fake hot soldering iron thing, not just that, but I think I was just an annoying brother who probably, I think I probably just made her go, what is the human mind like? And then she went and decided to become a psychologist.
Spurned her into this. I love it.
Yeah,
That's great.
I think that's kind of what happened.
I want to help people who have brothers like I do.
Yeah. Good point. All right. She's not answering, so I'm going to just quickly text her and pause and see what's up there. I talked to her last night, so I know she's good. Hold on just a moment, everybody. There she is. I'll type ready. All right, we'll see what we got. Oh, yeah, you missed that story, Dice Tomato. You must not have been here that day. There was a cold soldering iron and a regular, and one that was plugged in. We had two of them, my dad had, and they were identical. I don't know why he had two, but he had two. They were identical, and I had just finished showing her melting, soldering. What's that stuff called? Solder, I guess.
Solder, yeah.
Yeah, soldering metal, whatever that is made of.
Just solder. It's just called solder.
And she saw it burn and how hot and melty it was, and then I chased her around the house with the cold one. She didn't know that. She thought it was the hot one, which was the joke, right? Such an a-hole thing to do. Chased her around the house.
The funnier joke would have been, "Hey, Wendy, watch this," and put it on your own tongue.
I should have done that.
Yeah.
Because
Same
then
effect,
she's yes. And I save her the humiliation and the pain.
Right.
So I chased her.
Part of that chasing her around is going to be, no, it's cold. Feel it. No, I'm not going to. Ah!
Yeah, but then it got worse. So you forget the worst part. I sat her down, or I pinned her down and touched her forehead with it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And it was cold and not hot, but it didn't matter because she thought her brother was literally going to burn a giant hole in her head. It was not. It wasn't cool. I admit it, but I think that drove her to.
It wasn't cool.
I think it.
Nicely played, sir.
Drove her to this place. Wendy, are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Oh, so good. Here's your theme.
Something wrong, Batman? Has anybody seen Wendy?
Barnacles in a wad.
She's right here. She's not anywhere else but here. Hey, it's good to have you here. How the heck are you? You doing all right?
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
You got all your Christmas crap all working out and everything you need to do?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have Sweden cured me of my Christmas fanaticism, so.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm way too much chill. It's good. I used to have, Christmas bought, wrapped under the tree by October 31st.
Oh, wow. Not so much now.
And then I just do Christmassy stuff till my mind explodes in December. And now I'm just, I don't know. It's chilled me out a little bit.
That's
Maybe because I don't have little kids anymore. It's stressful.
But aren't they the home of the Krampus over there in Sweden? Or am I thinking of somewhere else? Who's got the Krampus?
The Krampus. That's
is that Finland?
Germany?
Oh,
are you talking about? Is it Denmark?
Maybe they got the evil Krampus who comes and steal your kids.
The little
Yeah.
No, that's not them.
Central European folklore.
Gotcha. Okay.
By the way, Sweden, they love Christmas. Don't get me wrong. It's just everything in Sweden is measured and normal. So it just helps.
Oh, I see.
Here are all the countries that believe in or that talk about Krampus: Austria, Bavaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Hungary, Northern Italy, Slovakia, and Slovenia.
Wow, just Northern Italy. That's weird. Okay.
They say just Northern Italy. Yeah.
All right. We got to watch that. Were we watching the Krampus for our film tech?
We're not because it's not streaming anywhere, but as soon as it's streaming, I don't care what time of year it is, we're watching it.
We're watching the Krampus in spring if we have to.
Whatever, if we have to, yeah.
I'm excited. All right. Slavic in origin, says Dice Tomato. Interesting.
Is your first thought like, oh, she's got the menstrual Krampus?
The menstrual Krampus. Yeah, I like
That's my
that.
first thought. Like, why are we talking about Krampus?
Yeah, because they got the menstrual
That's
Krampus.
the plural of Krampus.
Menstrual
Yeah.
Krampus.
It's like they said in that guy in jail in was it Raising Arizona says sometimes I get the menstrual cramps real hard. Remember that?
It's my favorite line.
It's pretty good. Anyway, Wendy, it's good to have you here. We're gonna go for it and talk. But before we do, before we get to the topic, I have a question for you that came from another. Oh, I have that line. Hold on, I'm gonna play it.
Well, sometimes I get the menstrual cramps real hard.
All right, that's the guy. I forgot I had that. Anyway, I was gonna. Okay, so I was talking to my buddy Bo Schwartz on another show I do last night, and he wanted me to ask you if it's true that psychedelics in the form of, I mean, whatever name you want to use, acid, mushrooms, what's the PCP, that sort of stuff. Is it making a therapeutic comeback? Because there's a lot of
yeah, baby.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so
It's exciting. So psilocybin.
Yeah.
Psilocybin is what the adults call it.
Okay. All right.
And you won't be able to spell that, so you'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Anyway, psilocybin is like magic mushrooms would be the street term. Anyway, back in the day, there were some early researchers in the 60s who were, doing a lot of this stuff and having a good time. And, the whole counterculture stuff sort of won over and it became a little too recreational. And so a lot of the research was sort of, it had good beginnings, but credibility and lots of other problems. So really, we just put it on a shelf and then pumped out Ritalin and antidepressants for the next 30 years, 40, 50, so many years. Anyway, so what's happening now is Johns Hopkins is kind of the leading place where this is happening, but they're studying lots of versions of this, but microdosing of psilocybin, so microdosing of mushrooms for the treatment of depression and anxiety, and it's wicked effective.
Really?
And you're not like walking around high,
right?
But it's really pretty effective. So lots of research is coming out. Tim Ferriss, do you know who that guy is?
That sounds
the drummer for NXS, if I remember correctly.
He's the drummer for NXS, is it?
I don't think so.
there is a drummer for NXS named Tim Ferriss, or a guitarist for NXS named Tim Ferriss, but
Tim Ferriss,
guy, I'm sure, yeah.
Tim Ferriss is that 4-hour work week guy.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah, so he's just like super driven. He's got his podcast. Anyway, he is, using his own money and raising money to pay for some of these studies because he's had his own experience with them and benefits, and lots of people are finding that this is sort of a thing. Unfortunately, it got hijacked many years ago and could have really benefited some people. So anyway, so for example, ketamine, you guys are familiar with that?
Yeah, ketamine. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So ketamine, of course, is
we call it
a
K.
very dangerous.
We call it K.
We call it K. Very dangerous street drug version of that. But what they've started to do in hospitals and different psychiatric places is they have an emergency ketamine drip for folks who are suicidal. And you are pretty high, I think, doing that. But anyway, you're not like, you have to have someone with you for the next 24 hours, but it really like resets the brain in a way that, so they're studying that, and it does exist. I mean, I know it exists in Utah.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it
they're
here.
Very careful, and
sure.
It's regulated very closely.
Super controlled stuff, but yeah.
Super controlled, but also like incredibly beneficial to stop acute suicidality in its tracks. Usually, it takes someone hospitalized a couple days, other medication, lots of watching, and it takes a while to get out of that brain state. But ketamine does it quickly. So anyway, it's it probably freaks people out to hear about, and they're like, "What?"
That's just because culturally they've been trained to think that this is some evil thing from the '60s, and they just
right. And so and of course it's not everyone's sitting around getting high. It's medicinal doses, small doses that are kind of what it does to the brain.
So if I went in, let's say I went into a doctor, says, doctor, the PTSD and the depression, I don't know what to do. Can they prescribe that sort of thing? Or is this only in test sort of environments?
It's only in test form on the okay, so sort of regulated and everyone is agree that it's existing. Just like if I said, hey, before marijuana was legalized, do you think anyone did it or smoked it or had access to it?
Right.
The answer is, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think it's not as widespread because it's tricky stuff in some ways. But for therapeutic use, I do know, this is anecdotal, but I do know a friend of a friend who's essentially, he lives in the Bay Area and has a therapist. He trips on whatever it is. I'm not sure what substance he's using, probably psilocybin. And the therapist is with them and he has whatever experiences. And then that's what whatever comes out of that experience, that's what they work on for the next couple months in therapy. So it's kind of like it speeds up the therapeutic process.
Interesting.
Yeah. So ayahuasca is another one ayahuasca is for like the hardcore because it's not fun. Like the other stuff,
really?
like
it's bad.
Cool.
It's like a bad trip.
But it takes you on kind of a bad trip.
Yeah.
Oh, it's and the best trip of ayahuasca is probably always considered a bad one on any other drug because often you're vomiting and often you feel very ill afterwards. So it can be not pleasant at all.
Yeah.
But I did have a client years and years ago who had very difficult childhood and very abusive, messed up family and life. And suddenly she's like getting Peruvian ayahuasca on the streets of Salt Lake somehow.
Oh, wow.
And then she'd come in and the first time, I was blown away. It's as if she had done a year of therapy between our visit.
Weird.
It was crazy.
Weird.
And what it does is it takes your central processing, how our brains typically process information is kind of in the median of the brain. So if I scanned your brain while we're doing therapy, Brian, you'd be lighting up kind of in the central part of your brain. That's where we process most of our life experience. It's also where our ego kind of lies and that self-referential processing of like, what is everyone thinking about me? So if you think of it, it's just like a big old teenager sitting in the middle of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And what these drugs tend to do is turn that off. So that goes offline and then we start processing on the sides of our brains. So a lot more activity on the tissue on the side left, sometimes one side over the other. And people will often have a very common experience. You've heard this before of like feeling just love for everyone and an awareness that we're all connected, that because the ego that processes self-reference to everything, the ultimate narcissist in us is offline. And what emerges is this collective connectivity. It's like the Matrix if it was happy. You know what I mean? Anyway, so it's pretty fascinating. So what happens is she would be able to just like dig super deep. She'd be shown a vision of like the bull crap that her family pulled over her, and she had no idea really. She could just see it and feel it, and the words it's not even words. I don't know how to describe it. And then she'd come in for a session and man, we would plow through stuff. So I am I don't know if I'm torn. I'm excited to see where it goes. I think if it's regulated well and I think
it sounds like the kind of thing that's it's rife for abuse, like any controlled
like
substance.
All things.
But there is some value though, I think, in backing off the demonization and getting closer to what is this thing that grows naturally? Why does it do what it does? How can it be helpful? If it's not, okay, fine, let's scientifically get to that end or to the other end, which is that it is like that's a valuable human endeavor.
It is, and I should clarify. Drug and treatment resistant depression is where they're finding the most success. So it's sort of binding to different things than what we try to do with antidepressants, et cetera. And that this is, so it's amazing because there's really nothing else we have for these folks. And so it's pretty cool stuff. Michael Pollan has a book out about it. You know how he did the Omnivore's Dilemma, and he's kind of find stuff that's interesting. He has one on psychedelics that I think people might find interesting.
I almost thought you said Michael Palin, who's used to be with Monty Python. I thought it was that guy. But no.
Or the husband of Sarah Palin?
Oh gosh, no. They're divorced now, right? They got divorced.
He's toothbrush or like he's some weird name. What is it, like Bristol?
Microwave.
No, not Bristol.
Bristol's the kid, yeah.
Trig? Isn't he Trig?
No, Trig's the son. who got in trouble, who
right.
is all.
The dad's name is.
They're jacked up, dude. The Palins,
Jerry.
that household is jacked.
Yeah.
We're lucky they. Well, whatever. I don't want to get into that. All right,
Is
so
it just Todd? Is it just Todd? Greg for one.
is it just Todd? Okay, it's just Todd.
Boring old Todd.
Yeah, they just gave the weird names of their kids. So.
Sarah didn't get to name him, or he would be named Microwave Plate or whatever.
Microwave plate Palin.
Palin. I love it.
Plate. Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, I love that.
Plate Palin.
Palin. All right. Well, that's good. That's a good look at that. I wasn't sure, and that's way more than I thought. So I'm going to tell Bo to make sure to listen to today's segment. He'll be interested in this. He has friends with. No, I can't remember what he was telling me. Maybe he had friends with PTSD or something like that, and that's how this all came up.
Yeah, there's lots of good. That's one area of the research that is growing too, which is great.
Well, I hope one day we all get to try a little mushroom in our lives. All right, moving on to our actual. So this is a message that we got. We don't have a name for this, but we're going to read it. It's very appropriate for this time of year, specifically Thanksgiving, Christmas, that sort of stuff. And I'm just going to read the email and then we'll talk about it. So here we go. I am married to a woman who he describes as wonderful, who has decided to go vegan for moral reasons. I myself don't share the same convictions as her, but don't feel it is my place to tell her how she should feel. This year, while planning Thanksgiving, her and her sister, also vegan, decided they wanted to have a vegan Thanksgiving. Now, for me, it's no big deal to skip meat for one meal for her convictions, as I eat what I want the rest of the year. Her other sister, not vegan, is putting up a huge deal about it. I don't get the feeling that the sister who is putting up a fuss understands why it's important. The way that I thought my wife would explain this to her is to say it's like doing Satan worship at the table while they are trying to pray. Her sister is religious. This felt like the closest thing I could think to relate to. Thoughts? I thought that this discussion would be an interesting topic for your group section. Thanks for your time. Anonymous.
So real quick, that was from over a year ago because last night I realized, this is so embarrassing, I have not been getting any of my emails from Therapy Thursday.
Oh, man.
Oops.
Adam. I blame Adam. Adam screwed up. I blame Adam.
He looked at it and he's like, what in the world have you done? I'm like, I didn't do anything. And obviously, I just thought, well, everyone stopped emailing. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's how, I'm the ignorant half Luddite of the family. So embarrassing. But anyway, so he fixed it, and then suddenly I got all these emails about the dog, and I'm like, oh, look at everyone writing to me about the dog. Thank you. That's so nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you got a ton of dog feedback, I heard.
Yeah, because I didn't get any, and I was like, nobody wants to help me. Mm-hmm. And then I realized my email must be problematic, and it is. So anyway, this is a year-old email. I'm so sorry. I would love to hear how their actual Thanksgivings, 2 of now, have passed with the vegan situation. But I think it is an interesting, it's illustrative of bigger stuff in families,
right?
And in couples even, right? Of changing thoughts or beliefs, or having a new conviction that when you got married at 25, you both didn't go, okay, in my prenup, I'm going to let you know at 40, I want a sports car and I'm going to be a vegan. You don't know how to plan for these things or what to do. So real quick before we go any deeper, do you two have any experience with this where somebody in your life, could be you even, has sort of changed something that's fairly fundamental, like what you eat and don't eat is, I guess we don't think much about it until suddenly, somebody's gluten-free and we can't have any more of our favorite bread or whatever, you know what I mean? Those kinds of things.
Well, Carter's a vegetarian and has been since she was 11. Technically, she classifies herself as a pescatarian because she will eat fish and seafood, but no meat, no chicken, no beef, no, the other traditional things you don't go for. She's not full vegan by any stretch, but she just, and her reasons are less about, the poor cows or whatever. It's more, she just hates meat. She just doesn't like how it tastes. She makes her feel gross. The smell of bacon makes her kind of sick. She just doesn't like it. I know it's horrible.
So sad.
It makes me very sad.
But also, I'm jealous.
I know. I know, right? So as a result, every time Kim makes a meal that involves like a big family meal or something, or a holiday thing, she always does a little extra something that Carter can eat. So if it's jambalaya, there's a huge pot full of jambalaya with all the stuff we like, and then there's a little small pot for a number of servings for Carter that is just the shrimp and not the sausage, not the chicken, not the other stuff that she doesn't want. And so that's just a normal thing around this house. When she goes to a party or a friend's house or a place or a restaurant where she doesn't have vegetarian options, she just doesn't eat, or she'll get the thing that's closest to vegetarian she can. Just get something without meat in it, which is pretty easy to do. Vegan's a much harder thing to do, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's so in her scenario, it's not really all that difficult, but we do try to make sure that the things are cool for her. I mean, for us, honestly, this kind of tension mostly comes from, like religious tension or racial tension. And mostly when I say that, I mean, not my side of the family, but the other side. Like, for example, Carter's going to kill me for saying this because she doesn't want me prancing her personal life around, but she's going on a date in a week or so with the coolest kid. His name's Darren, and he's black, and he's so cool. I am so stoked for her to go out with this kid. He's this nicest kid, and she's nervous but excited and all this stuff. If if their first date was, hey, bring Darren to a dinner over at the in-laws' house, it would be weird. They wouldn't say anything. They would be, they would have friendly on the outside and everything. But I know deep down there's some deep south in there that is just going, oh my goodness, I can't believe she's dating a black person. I know it will happen. I know it. And so that kind of stuff is more the level I think he's dealing with this religious non-vegan in this family scenario. So that's my end of it. Brian, do you have any similar?
It's funny, I don't. Everybody in the immediate family, even the one circle out family, is no vegetarians, vegans, or anything that would be like this would affect how we do a group function or a meal. I'm trying to even think if like somebody's got a food allergy. I mean, there's some stuff that some family members don't like, but they just don't dip their spoon into that pot. It's
yeah.
But I'm trying to think of how. I mean, I imagine we'd be pretty easy going about it. One year, my grandmother for Thanksgiving decided to do a bunch of individual Cornish game hens instead of turkeys. Not because of any sort of like,
moral reasons
or anything. We just want to save the turkeys and F those Cornish game hens. But I guess it was she got a great deal of them at Costco or something. So everybody got their own individual Cornish game hen. But even that was like, we kind of laughed about it and said, all right, it's something different. Let's do it. But Tina doesn't like pumpkin pie, but
what?
It's not, I know. Anything pumpkin. She doesn't like anything pumpkin.
Is she a white American or
she
who?
is pumpkin. She doesn't even do the pumpkin spice lattes, right? I mean, like, yeah, nothing pumpkin.
Okay.
But we know. But there are other people in the family who don't like pumpkin pie. We just always have another pie, and I guess that would be the way to do this, right? If you've got somebody who's vegan, maybe you have a small turkey for the people. Oh no, I guess because having the turkey out there would still be offensive to the vegan, because that turkey still got killed and its carcass is still sitting on the table with their tofurkey or whatever. So,
well, okay. And so I think you're hitting to the point I'm hoping to sort of discuss a little, which is the feeling that we have about someone else's behavior or choice that we perceive as stepping on our toes or our tradition, or we've all like, how dare you suddenly have all these opinions and judge me? I mean, so there's layers to this, and I think it's a bit of a Rorschach test for a family sometimes. When someone has a conviction maybe they didn't have before. So he's describing this as she has a moral conviction about her diet choice now, and it could be environmental, it could be, she loves animals. There's all sorts of reasons that are going on that are deeply held feelings and beliefs. And then you push those up with people who haven't really thought about the food they're eating, maybe, or they have and they've just decided like, oh, bacon, I don't care, whatever. And so when those two come together, it's like actually the real family dynamic underneath it all has words and objects we can now use to play it out. if that makes sense. So now it's about food. And here's the thing. If you had two sisters, because am I getting it right? It's a sister and a sister?
Yeah, sister and one sister, or two sisters are vegan. There's a third sister who is not and is also super religious, which is...
Super religious, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think some of it is we have this blind spot for our own set of beliefs and convictions, just like, well, I don't do that thing, and everyone should respect that. And we don't quite translate that to someone else's experience because we have a hierarchy, right? So my religious convictions are more important than how you're going to eat. Like, that's ridiculous. When really, I don't know, you should study all world religions. They all have dietary restrictions. Like, it's part of a belief system, right? But if someone doesn't have a traditional belief system, they can then, to make sense of that, there's sort of this, I don't know, maybe it's criticism or looking down on or whatever. So I'm guessing these three sisters, we're having just an extra dynamic from underneath coming up about food. So that's potentially one thing happening. Because if those three sisters were just close and like, they would just be happily accommodating each other's diet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you just be like, oh, you're vegan? Cool. Like, way to go. That's hard to do. And I'm glad you're sticking with what you believe. And yep, I'm going to make a vegan whatever. And that person's going to say, now that I'm vegan, I recognize that I have work to do on how I'm feeling about everyone else's food and what they're doing, because it's my conviction. And I need to respect some of the way they feel and what they think. And can I educate them, but can I accommodate as well? So there's like, yay, we're all sisters. But my guess is that's not simply what's happening. It's maybe more underneath that. But again, I mean, vegans are kind of known for, the joke is that they're not very nice about how, right? Because they've become convinced and then they proselyte, right? It becomes the way of like handling some of those feelings. So it really goes down to like, what's going on for somebody, and maybe they're new to their newfound conviction, and how do they handle some of the nuances around that? And there's no better place to light it all on fire than a Thanksgiving or
than a great big family meal.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And I think you can extend this to other topics, like someone joins a different religion than the family's, one, or political differences. I think
easily political differences
are the new version. So Scott's, family is like stuck in a different era, but like I think the modern version.
Kim's family, just putting that out there. It's not.
I know the modern version. Yeah, let's just throw Kim under the bus. The modern version of that, I think, is a little less about overt racism. I think there's always racism to some extent, but I think it's more about the political division that has occurred.
Yeah, there's a lot of that right now. I think,
and it was at one point religious. It was like, oh, don't you dare marry a Catholic, So we've morphed over time, and I think so. What do we do with that? This like very deeply held belief somebody has, and an emerging belief, which means everyone's got to shift and let you change, right? That's the tricky part. That's hard in families to see somebody changing and accept that new version when it might be the best thing for them and it's growth, and they go off and live their life and they're doing well, but then they come back in that family home and it's like, well, you're supposed to be what like I need you to be or whatever. Mm-hmm. So you can have this sort of really conflicted thing where people just don't say what they think or what they feel, or and then those who do probably feel like they have to fight about it a little bit. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
Happy Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, I really, now that we've had this discussion, I really do want to hear how it went last year and this year for that matter, for them.
Yeah, please send us
they just had separate Thanksgivings this year after the fiasco last year.
Yeah.
The 2018.
I'd seriously like to know, because that's a I don't know. They're mirror images to some of the stuff I talked about. We didn't really get into how politics divides people at these sort of family things. We've talked about it before on the show, of course, but we in our particular case, there is one part of an extended family, one person in particular, that really, really makes that hard every time, and we've had to have this question of like, all right, what do we do? Like, how with Oknan, the way she used to be, we would be like, well, are we supposed to be mad at her, or should this be funny? Like, what are we supposed to do? And in the end, I think we all just think she's kind of funny now.
She's funny, yeah.
So we've accepted that as, okay, she's quirky and strange, and if you're going to let that bug you, then you're just wasting your time. Just accept her for who she is and whatever. That's a lot harder to do when somebody's, calls people from the Middle East Hajis and talks about the former first lady was either a gorilla or a man in the sky, stuff like that. Like, these are things that have come out of his mouth at family events.
My gosh.
I know. And I'll tell you off air who it is, but as a result,
I don't need to know.
As a result, it's nobody you'll ever have to deal with, because it's way on Kim's extended side. But I don't know, Kim. Well, whatever. Kim, the modern Soanes family, Kim and all her sisters and her brothers, they're all great people. It's just a little beyond. Yeah, they're reformed, but just a little beyond that over there. A little bit of stuff going on. But anyway, the point is, that's much harder to go, oh, that's just him, he's funny, like, you can't do it. So we've struggled with that. Like, what do you do? And in my case, one of these times something like that got said, and I went, all right, and I stood up and I walked out of the room. And it's that or fight, and I don't want to fight, and I don't want to.
You've done the thing where you try and, like, you inject some sort of comedic response to kind of defuse the situation.
Yes, I will try to do that, especially with her mom, because I can do that and get away with it.
Right.
Because she'll, she's mostly a deflector. She'll say things like, I remember what it was. We were making some, for those that don't know, my wife comes from a pretty staunch LDS background in Mississippi, which adds to the staunchness. And one time, Wendy will love this story. So one night we're at a barbecue, and Kim's mom said, I can't remember what it was. Shoot, I can't remember how this went, but I made some crack that flew in the face of this weird assumption she had. And instead of addressing it, she looked at the sky and said, "Isn't the moon lovely tonight?" Like, as if we weren't having a conversation about the other thing just before that.
Right.
So she does a lot of that, and it's fine. So I feel a lot more brave with her. Not brave, but I feel a lot more like I can just sort of say something, make a joke out of it, like Brian said, and get away with it.
Yeah.
With this other person, this particular person is a little militant and angry,
ready to
rumble, and it's hateful and mean, and it's really a problem for me.
So we talked about Knives Out, that movie. Mm-hmm. Can I talk about it, or are people like?
No, let's talk about Knives Out. Knives Out is great.
Well, it depends. Are you going to give a spoiler?
Well, I feel like there should be I don't know, spoiler. Well, this isn't a spoiler about the plot or anything. It's they at one point are all sitting around talking about politics, and it is such a great representation of a very typical family where everyone's kind of agreeing, then disagreeing, and then there's always the one person in this, and everyone sort of talking about it over each other. It's just like, whoa, they put on TV a thing that I am hearing from so many people is happening in their lives.
Yeah, not only that, it felt like a very this wasn't made up. It felt very real because of the kind of, like you said, people are agreeing, some are disagreeing, some are only agreeing because he said it. And then the one guy is trying to bolster his argument. By one guy, I mean Don Johnson. He calls her over, and now we've got a token immigrant to talk about. But he does it in a way that he doesn't even realize he's doing it. And then that's part of the problem, because people don't know they're doing this, but they're doing it. And
then the liberal white sister-in-law who's like totally going to say the right hippie things, whatever, is just doing the I'm a rich white lady pandering thing. Like, it's astounding.
Yeah,
it's astounding how well they pulled that off. Anyway, so people go watch that. But I do think that is an example of, like, the thing that kind of happens, and I think this happens with this vegan story and the Christian woman who, like, can we get into each other's shoes? So the emailer said something interesting. He said, here's this analogy I could give her, or I will give her, of like, what if we started worshiping the devil in the middle of your dinner? Right? Mm-hmm. Like, to take a second and just try to imagine what things would feel like for you. Mm-hmm. Or, for someone else, like trying to understand, using your own contextual clues, like, oh, I'm religious, I say a prayer. How would I feel if someone because my conviction is this, and I'm with family, I'm supposed to be safe, but I wouldn't be allowed to say a prayer over the food because they're chanting devil songs.
Well,
then
to me,
how
it's simple.
would I feel?
To me, it's simple.
Right?
Oh man,
tapping into empathy, right?
Yeah, it is that, right? And it's letting that empathy override maybe another thing you thought you were convicted about. So, for example, if maybe this is just, we always talk about Dad, the gospel of Dad, right? The gospel of Blaine, but I think some of these ideas came from him. But if he's at a place where, and I do this too. I don't know why I do it. I just do it naturally. But if I'm at a place where somebody wants to pray, or do it in their own way, or it's different than what I'm used to, or let's just say somebody wanted to say something at dinner that was just condemning of all religion, as an example. I'm in their house, I'm in their presence, I'm doing, I'm kind of on somebody else's dime. I'm not going to make a huge stink about it. Exactly. And it's not because I don't think it's not important, or that, like, for example, someone in the chat earlier says, I don't know how you even go around that person that said those things. I would just never be there again. It's not that simple. It's not that black and white. No pun intended with the racist.
Sorry, good choice of words.
But it's not that black and white because the person that they're married to, we love dearly, and don't get that from that person.
Both of them for the comments by the other.
Right.
Yeah.
We have kids they have kids that we are a bit of a village for, and we want to be good influences in their lives. It's just not that simple. I mean, it's easy to say it when you're not there, but it's not that simple. So my take on that sort of thing is to try to understand where other people are coming from. And even if ultimately there's no way I can find any agreement with them, I'm just going to get up and go, all right, and walk in the other room and watch football with everybody else. That's what I'm going to do.
Right.
And anything beyond that is maybe if you think you can have a discussion, great, have a discussion. But maybe do it with each other off to the side, where you're not involving a whole room, where you're not creating a whole thing. Like I don't think there's any simple answer to this, but it never hurts to try the empathy thing first and try to understand where people are coming from. Ever. Well, like, I can't think of a scenario where that doesn't work. It always works.
Well, and take what I have to do with couples. So I did this the other day with a couple who, they have very, very different religious convictions, and it has changed for one of them, and the other one, it has stayed the same. And so now they're very different. And so, they feel betrayed, and the other one's just like, you don't get me, da, da, da. And so where I have to start with them is, empathy can be a natural sort of response if that kind of is your natural set point. But for the vast majority of us, empathy is there, but it has to be accessed, if that makes sense. It's not the first thing coming out of our mouth when someone's bad mouthing the Vikings to the Packers fan or whatever, like this happens in every way. All of our team, tribalist things we do, but you do have to access it. And that's why the internet's so dodgy, because there is no eye contact, right? So eye contact's part of empathy. Also listening, actually hearing. And that's the other part with written words, like in Twitter, is you're misunderstanding the feeling. Sarcasm isn't quite portrayed, all of those things we're not attuned to. So you have to turn your empathy on. And this is what I have this couple do. And I should make you guys do it sometime. It'd be funny. Anyway, the two of you to learn how to communicate. And I have them start from scratch with communication. So I give them pieces of paper. One person has the floor, the other one has to shut up, and they have to follow a certain formula. I stop them all the time. I steer them back onto make sure you're only talking about how you feel, no blaming, no other things. So one person gets to say how they feel and what they're thinking, what they're going through, and it's going to happen without blaming. And that's new for a lot of people sometimes. Mm-hmm. So once that happens, then we hand the floor to the other person, and the person doesn't say what they want to say. The person repeats back. So we call it reflective listening. And to really do it is painstaking, because you have to stop your brain from coming up with the answer, from processing too quickly, and to really, really listen. So I make them do this. Yeah, and they hate it because it changes everything in their relationship if they do it. But it is really strenuous because your brain is going, brrr, but da 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 da. Instead, you have to stop it and go, wait, what are they
Here's
actually?
what you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you check, and then the person goes, yeah, I don't think you got it. So they get to talk for another minute. Until that person feels heard, we do not switch papers. So guess who gets to decide if they feel heard? The person who's talking, not the person who claims they've heard, right?
Yes, right. Here's what you said. I got it right. Move on.
I got it. And now my point, and so then we switch. And it's like slow motion arguing that is almost sleepy. Like they're like, I don't feel all the pain and the fury and the outrage because I've slowed this down and I really know what they're saying. And then when I say something, I'm saying something different than I would have because I was jumping to a conclusion before. So it's really powerful, but I don't think the average, great uncle and whatever at a Thanksgiving dinner are going to be doing this. But to think in terms of, do you really listening to someone's concern when they're saying something crazy that you're just like, that doesn't make any sense. How could you believe that? How, there's a discount of you believe this thing because no one would believe this is a good idea.
Right.
So I automatically think I already get you. And now I'm just going to say my point versus, no, really help me understand where you're coming from. Yeah. And usually there's underlying psychological reasons for why we are coming from where we are coming from,
Yeah, no, that's true. Well,
makes me, by the way, that reminded me, you have Netflix, right, Wendy?
Yes.
There's a movie that I recommended yesterday on the show called Marriage Story that I think I'd love to get your take on it if you've watched it or haven't watched it.
I've heard of it.
The beginning of the movie is just like what you're describing with the talking and the other person having to listen and repeat back.
And the marriage blows up. So
yeah.
Marriage is,
it's a mess. Brian,
here's the thing, Brian. If I will only watch that if you guys promise that it's like homework assigned to me to do for a show, because I will not watch it otherwise.
Oh, really?
I don't. What is it's the New York Times column, Modern Love. They have episodes for Modern Love they've made into TV series. Have you heard of this?
I have heard of it. No. I've not seen it.
Okay, so I have had friends who have amazing marriages, been married a long time, super happy, said the first time they have wondered if really everything is okay is after watching one of those episodes.
Well,
it's an advice column, the New York Times, of like modern marriage questions or relationship questions, and then they've made them into movies, and they are so well done apparently. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't need to watch one acted out. This is what I do for a living. So, but if you want to make an assignment, I do homework. So.
That's interesting. This is consistent with Wendy's whole thing with like, I'm not going to watch people jump off the Twin Towers. I'm not going to watch the news tonight because I know exactly what it's going to be. Or I'm not going to see a movie where, I'm purposely subjecting myself to a thing I don't want to see. This is a bit like that. So should we make it homework or not?
Well, ask the Tadpool if they want to hear
you've given us so much homework. I feel like I'd want to do it just for that reason alone.
Okay, okay, I'll do it.
But
I'll do it.
You know what? It's a very entertaining movie, and I just think you'd enjoy it from that perspective. But I don't know how much. Your counseling is almost all one-on-one, or your therapy is one-on-one. Very little is marriage counseling, correct?
Well, it used to be like 50-50. So it's a little less now, but it kind of depends on the time of year.
I wonder if you get PTSD from this. That'd be interesting.
I'd be really curious about it. And we're talking about, this thing's got like an all-star cast, like multiple golden, and the most Golden Globe nominations this year, like probably an Oscar contender for the top spot. Like it's a good movie. I haven't seen it yet, so I got to watch it too,
And without homework, you guys, I swear I would never see it. It would win all these awards, and I'd just be like, well, I missed that one. It's a strange behavior, but part of it is if stuff is just too real.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
What's even worse is if they did it badly, like, I don't know, like the therapy was really bad, or I don't know. And I'm sure that's not what's happening, but yeah, I'll give it a shot because you're right. I have absolutely given you guys so much homework and all the listeners, and I have done nothing. So I could at least spend an hour and a half watching an award-winning movie.
Are you watching The Mandalorian with the kids Tell me you're watching
We haven't
that.
started it because no one has any time, but that's what we're gonna do.
Just binge it. Binge it when it's
episode.
done. It's almost done. You'll binge the thing. The episodes are like 38 minutes a piece. They're not.
Oh,
long.
really? They're short.
They're quick. Mm-hmm.
And it's
Are they? Is
wonderful.
it good?
And
Is that Baby Yoda the whole time? Because that thing's so cute.
It's so good. It's really good. And actually, I kind of envy people who get to just binge because I would love to just binge this. I hate that I have to wait every week because it's that good. It's like Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything I wanted from Star Wars when I was a kid that they haven't really given me until now. It's really, really great.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you'll love it.
All I know is every meme has that baby. And I look at pictures of dogs. I've gotten lots of amazing advice. Thank you to the vet who wrote to me. Oh my gosh, that was so helpful. A bunch of you have sent really helpful information now that my email works. And I look at pictures of dogs and then I see Baby Yoda and I'm like, but the dogs aren't as cute as Baby Yoda. So it's problematic. I need to just get a dog and then watch The Mandalorian. That's what I'll do.
Well, there you go. Wendy Dunford, everybody. My sister and a qualified therapist. Don't forget, you can send emails to her and they'll get to her now, right? Is that the deal?
I can actually, sorry, everybody. Yeah, Wendy with an I at therapythursdays.com.
Therapy Thursdays in the plural.com. And Therapy Thursdays on Twitter, although you're not on there very much, but still it's there, so you can check that. And you can also find her on Instagram over at Wendy Dunford. Wendy, have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next week, right? Yeah. All right. Well,
should we do the movie? Should we talk about Marriage Story next week?
Yes.
Oh, we could.
Let's do it. That'll give me an excuse to watch it. It's on Netflix. It's an original. You can't miss it. And we'll talk next week about it. That's a great idea. All right. See you later.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye.
All right.
Cool.
You should hear what we were going to talk about today. I talked her down from it, though.
It was going to be me, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's all going to be about Brian. How are we going to fix Brian? He's just such a problem.
One of these times it's going to be an intervention here on the show. I know it is. I don't know what it's going to be for. Brian, you don't need another 3D printer. You don't need another VR headset, Brian.
Right. Don't do it. All right. That's it for today's show. Any ANTP going is on? We haven't had a chance to really mention that this week. Is there anything going? I know we're leading up to the finals. I didn't know if you wanted to.
We are, yes. Today on the feed, it's going to be the next to last. It's going to be the judging and elimination for the next to last challenge, which was the solo interview challenge. Both of all three of the solo interviews have been put on the feed. So you'll hear the solo interviews from Kristen, David, and Bobby. Maybe that's a spoiler if people aren't that far, but anyway, you can hear all three of those and then find out who gets voted off on the show today.
Nice. This is a big one. Big one.
It is a big one. I mean, they just get bigger and bigger until the biggest.
Until the very biggest. And then they're so big, you could say it was embiggened. But don't, because we don't like saying that.
Right. Exactly.
That's going to do it for the show. Thank you all for being here. Hey, big reminder, the show is produced by you because you help us out over at patreon.com/TMS. Continue to do that. That'd be wonderful. Also, themorningstream@gmail.com for our emails. Get those coming to us. If you're looking for everything else, it's all at frogpants.com/TMS. You'll find other shows there as well. All kinds of cool stuff. So spend some time clicking around frogpants.com. Why not? All right, Brian, song to take us out, please.
Sure. How about this one from Glenn? Says, hi there, fellas. I have a short request for a very special lady on her birthday. To Gabby, I love you. I cherish you. I always want to be there for you. You are my sword. I will be your armor. Oh, lovely sentiment right there.
That's nice.
Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful holiday season. Signed, Glenn. Very sweet. And their anniversary, her birthday is tomorrow, but we've got a bunch of things for... Like I had a bunch of things that were all on the 13th, and I've been doing them in order that they came in backwards, so that the person who requested something specifically for tomorrow, the earliest, gets it on that date, and then we just move backwards from there, if that makes sense.
Yes, totally.
I am totally going to butcher the name of this artist, but the request is someone to watch over me by, I think it's pronounced Coeur de Pirate. I think it's Coeur. It's a Canadian performer, but it's a French word, Coeur de Pirate. It could be Coeur de Pirate or Coeur de Pirate. Anyway, or pure. Maybe I'm even pronouncing it. Might be Puree wrong. Somebody's going to put a
Purell.
Purell, exactly. Somebody's going to put the correct pronunciation in the chat room.
Yes, we count on them for
Is
this.
it? No, really? It's French, but you pronounce the R?
Coeur. Really?
Put in the link there.
It's always not pronounced the R in French words, is it?
There, core. Anyway,
Yeah.
there is a a French Canadian TV show called Trauma. It's basically the ER of Canada, and their soundtrack albums have almost all been cover albums, really good cover albums. Really, really good stuff too. Coeur de Pirate, I'm going to pronounce it like that, was the featured artist on one of these and did all of the songs for it, including this cover of Someone to Watch Over Me for the TV show. Here is, that's it right there, Someone to Watch Over Me by Coeur de Pirate.
See you guys tomorrow for TMS PM at 3:30 Mountain Time. Bye. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
I peed on a girl.
Ew.
Oh, is that
Jeez,
Bo?
that was Bo.